welcome to Shrubby Buddies podcast, where we talk all things horticulture right from the heart of Zone 6B. So grab a drink, step into the garden, and grow with us as we talk plants, tools, tips, tricks, with a healthy dose of comedy and banter. Whether you're crushing it in the landscape or just trying to keep the one plant alive, we've got you covered. And as always, love you harder plus 2. Hey, Shrubby Buddies, and welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. I am Matty C, joined with Timmy D, coming at you from Studio 6B. So that kind of rhymed. I like that.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
That was very good.
Good. Yeah. So what's been going on with you?
Just singing some Third Eye Blind in my head.
You have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting into some 90s alternative.
Speaking of
stuff.
90s alternative, this week's song,
Yeah.
in honor of the lack of rain we've been getting in Ohio. Can you guess?
Drier than a popcorn fart.
Blind Melon, No Rain.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah. So that's Blind Melon, No Rain is this week's song of the week.
Fantastic choice. And that whole album, start to finish, is fantastic.
Good album. It really is a good album.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So got that one in my Easter basket as a child.
Yeah. Okay.
Like on cassette tape.
Hey, I just glanced down and saw Brutus sitting here.
Yeah.
And people will learn why we have Brutus here shortly.
Yeah.
But you know what kind of bums me out?
What?
Not a single person commented on the chorizo sticks you had down there last week. You had 2 frozen logs of chorizo sitting on the table, and you're like, "Ooh, I hope somebody comments on the chorizo logs."
I've been trying to put a little Easter egg here on the table each week.
Easter egg.
And I tell Mattis, don't mention it. I just want to see who sees the chorizo sticks and comments, and nobody did.
No one saw your chorizo, bub. Sorry about that. Yeah. So this past weekend, you and I were up in Perrysburg on Saturday, and we finally got Elisa's pollinator garden planted.
Yes, we did.
1,200 plugs.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gary should have gotten the little blue stem that we were short on today.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. Well, that and the Vernonia still needs to go in, but yeah, we got 1,200 plugs in the ground. That was fun. It was cold and windy and rainy.
It was mild. I wouldn't call it
Not cold.
Per se.
It was mild, but I felt chilled, I guess, just because I was soaking wet too.
Yes.
Right? It was weird though, because I was also sweating.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty decent working weather. I'd take that over hot and sunny any day. So would those plugs too, because we had those plugs laying out on the ground for long periods of time, and they would have dried out so fast.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, but that was a fun project. I'm really, really anxious to see that thing mature over the coming years and what it kind of evolves into.
I think by midsummer it's going to be really filled in. It's going to be really like, you're going to be like, wow,
dude, we packed
that's really
the plugs.
taken off. Yeah, we
packed
did
the plugs in there. So yeah. So we did that.
Well, they don't call you Captain Plug for nothing.
No, that's what they called me in 10th grade. Captain Plug.
I know.
So,
so that was fun. And thank you to everybody who helped.
Yeah, we had some worker bees helping us plant.
We did. There was people who helped actually plant, and then like behind the scenes people who brought over food for lunch and things like that. Like the thing, and watched kids.
Yeah.
Because if the kids were out there, it just would have been a pain in the ass, because kids always need things.
Yeah.
And you're just like full of mud, and you're like, I can't get you a snack right now
because I'm muddy.
Yeah.
I'm wet and muddy.
So yeah, thank you to everybody involved in that project. So.
Absolutely. And we were gifted a beautiful piece of artwork for Studio 6B, but
coming soon.
I just haven't had time to get the artwork hung. I'll be honest with you. I got home Sunday, was whooped, Sunday afternoon, picked up around the house, had to mow, do stuff. By the time I finally got settled down Sunday, it was later in the evening. And then yesterday, Monday, I had to go to the nursery with Donald and pick up plants for his aunt's house.
The plant nursery.
Yeah, the plant nursery, Acorn Farms. So I had to get that for a landscape job. And then afterwards, I buzzed over to So Local and helped Julia out for a hot minute at her place, just helping get some flower beds cleaned up and weeded. And
you're a busy guy.
Pruned. And then we sprayed out. I sprayed out an area where we're going to plant some curly willow for her fall planters. She's wanting to try and grow as much as she can, in-house.
Yeah, because it's not cheap.
Yeah. And then I also sprayed out an area where there's going to be like a you cut your own flower thing outside of her little retail space.
That's fun.
The smokehouse. So yeah, we're kind of going, trying to get that stuff squared away over there at So Local. And we have a landscape job for her coming up. That'll be a good one. Looking forward to it. Getting some plants in the ground and making this. It's a beautiful home on a very, very nice golf course, kind of in the Dublin area in Central Ohio called Tartan Fields. So excited to do some work there at a nice house. And
yeah. So
it'll be fun.
Lots going on. So
lots going on.
I presume the reason why you haven't been able to hang our new artwork is because you're having trouble finding the stud.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting right here, bud. So
no, well,
oh, come on, dude, that's a Mike Guthrie joke right there. When he picks up a stud finder, he's like, "Oh, found the stud."
Me and Mikey are a lot alike, but I'm just saying, like, the stud's here now, so we should be able to hang it no problem.
Yep, we got her no problem.
Yeah.
What else? Work.
Earth.
This is what? Earth week, Earth month, Earth week,
Earth Day week.
Earth Day week. So I've got tomorrow's Earth Day. I've got a volunteer project with Wendy's corporate group. For anyone not in the Central Ohio area listening, Wendy's, like the restaurant you eat at, their corporate headquarters is located in Dublin, Ohio. So they have a big corporate event every year. The plants are provided by, I could be wrong on this, but I think it's something like Make Ohio Beautiful. It's like some nonprofit thing, and they provide plants for these big projects.
And it's
so
like 40 trees.
It's 40 trees, native trees. I would say that we're probably going to have 30 to 40 volunteers from Wendy's. So it's a mix. I can't remember the plant list exactly. There's tulip tree, there's pecan, there is white oak, there is black gum.
Redbud?
No redbud. There is trying to think of what else there is. Maybe some some white cedar maybe on there.
Okay, so some evergreen.
Yeah, evergreen. I mean, there's a mixed bag of stuff.
Very cool. So
yeah, it'll be good.
If there's 40 trees and 40 volunteers, then that's one tree per person, right?
Yeah.
In theory.
In theory it is. So the ground's hard though. We haven't had rain here in Ohio, in Central Ohio, in a couple of weeks was the last time we had a good rain, and this is April. I know like Northern Ohio's been getting it. I know Michigan. I talked to Jana at Intrinsic Perennials today on the phone. She said they're all flooded there in like Southern Wisconsin, Northern Illinois. So it's bad.
So hence the blind melon, no rain.
But yeah, no rain here in Central Ohio, and we could definitely use it. Fingers crossed we get a little passing storm or shower tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, this is our rainy season, so we need to get some, because I watered annual planters today, and I should not be having to water annual planters in April.
Yeah.
Just shouldn't.
It's ridiculous. So, what else? I don't know.
Well,
it's busy.
So yeah, it's Earth Day week, and so Friday we're doing a project at work. For Earth Day. I'm not sure what it entails, but we would usually do that on a Saturday. but we're doing it on a Friday this week. So
Yeah.
another volunteer project with some invasive removals and some education. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Should be a good time, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Busy. I'm sure everyone listening, it's your busy season too. We feel for you. Yeah, I just not enough hours in the day, it just seems like constant, and it's just little things too, like, love all of my neighbors and stuff, but it'll be like when I'm out mowing, hey Matt, when you get a chance, can you stop by and look at this and look at that and mark, and I will, I have no issue doing that. Right. Because
if there's
you're my
any neighbors listening, Matt's mad at you.
No, zero mad. Zero mad.
So it
I'm
sounded
gonna,
like
I'm pruning some trees for some new folks to the neighborhood. Very lovely family up the road. I'm gonna be pruning some trees for them. They've got like a green ash that needs some pruning and that's being treated, and then they have a magnolia in their backyard that needs some pruning. Next door, they're getting some work done in the back. They're going to be moving some things around and clearing out some invasives. So they want me to mark kind of what perennials can be moved and where they can be moved to. And then also what's invasive back there that can be removed and kind of what could go in its place.
So your new neighbor has a fine ash.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of fine ash around these parts anymore.
I know it. Thank goodness for the injections, right?
Yeah.
So
inject something.
Yeah. God. So lots going on. Tim?
Yes.
What do we got Brutus up here for?
So today I wanted to talk to our shrubby buddy friends about something that I've wanted to talk about since that day I was born.
Okay.
And that is Buckeyes and horse chestnuts.
Okay.
AKA the genus Aesculus.
Love it.
So that's why we've got Brutus.
Brutus the Buckeye. This is going to be a nutty episode. Nut. I can already feel it.
But yeah, so Matt and I have talked about doing some deeper dives here and there. Not every episode, but just deeper dives here and there on maybe a plant family or a type of plant. And I want to do Buckeyes now because Buckeyes are beautiful now.
Yeah.
It might have seemed more natural to do Buckeyes during, at the start of college football season, right? When the nuts are forming and people, you've got that going on. But we're going to tell you all these great things about Buckeyes today that you're not going to see in September.
Not to mention that a lot of the listeners on here might not give a shit about the Ohio State Buckeyes.
That's true.
I mean, we're not just talking to people in Central Ohio.
We're not just talking to our friends.
I know it's a very hard idea for you to wrap your brain around.
I know
that not everyone in this world's an Ohio State Buckeye fan, but
I get it.
But yeah, so
I get it, and I am an Ohio State Buckeye fan.
You don't say.
I was born that way.
I would have never have guessed.
It was like,
oh wait, it wouldn't be the hat, shirt, or button down that you.
It was like my destiny to go to Ohio State, and I did. And that's just my place.
Buckeyes are your thing.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So, but not just the whole football thing and such. The Ohio Buckeye is our state tree.
Yeah.
Which is what the Ohio State Buckeyes are named after. And Buckeyes and horse chestnuts are a pretty magical group of trees, in my opinion.
Okay.
I love them for a lot of reasons, and I just thought it'd be appropriate to talk about them while they're looking good out there.
Yeah, so I told you coming into this episode, like, you're going to have to steer this ship because I know enough about them to
be a little dangerous.
Yeah, like I don't know nearly as much about them as you do. So you're going to have to steer this ship. I will ask questions and interject when I can with some different things, but I know prior to this, when we were kind of talking about this episode, you said you wanted to hit on 4 natives.
4 natives.
And was it 2 non-natives?
4 natives, 2 hybrids.
Yeah.
And a non-native.
Okay, perfect. Yes, so 7 total.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm glad that we're hitting on natives because, man, I love, so we've been throwing up some stuff on TikTok. So yeah, if you're listening to this and you use TikTok, give us a follow, Shrubby Buddies on TikTok. We've been pretty active on there here as of late, but we have been getting a lot of engagement on some of our posts, which is great. I love the engagement. I love the people that are like, you know, not getting like pissed off at us, but like definitely throwing out like their opinions on
throwing
stuff that we're
shade,
saying.
being kind of smart asses. I love it.
I love it. Yeah, for sure. But you know, one of the reoccurring things that I've been getting is, you know, if it's not native, don't plant it. Natives only, natives only, natives only, all this and that. And I think that if you've listened to this show long enough with us, that you know Tim and I are not strictly natives only. We do love native plants, and we do use more native plants than we do anything else, but we still feel like there is a place for non-native things. We're talking ornamental horticulture here, and sometimes, you know, non-native plants make sense for the job or for the spot. So
I've said it before and I'll say it again, as far as the natives and non-natives thing goes. It's okay to have a gray area.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to be in the middle somewhere. You know, you think of like politics, you're either like way over here or way over here, but you know, maybe it's okay to be a little bit towards the center and talk about it. And it's the same with natives versus non-natives.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Yeah. And in your opinion. So,
yep.
and I'm okay with being there on natives versus non-natives. I mean, I certainly would never use any invasive plants in the landscape. There's some that I think are on the cusp, and I'm gonna have to give them up, and that's gonna be tough, but that's life. But
yeah, so I think that that's one thing that the native only and the I'm okay using some non-natives.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that we can all agree on is just don't plant invasive species.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, that's the big thing right there is let's not get these invasives in the ground. So let's get them out of the ground. But
exactly.
Anywho. So we're talking Buckeyes. Let's start off with the native stuff.
Well, so I'll just list off the 7 species I'd like to touch on today.
Yep.
The 7.
Hit me with them.
The 7 species whose genus is Aesculus. And this encompasses Buckeyes in North America, and we call them Buckeyes. In Europe and in Asia, the cousin is called a horse chestnut, but very closely related. So the natives that we're going to discuss today are our state tree, the Ohio Buckeye. There's the red Buckeye, the yellow Buckeye, and then the shrubby one, which is Aesculus bottlebrush Buckeye. Then the non-native species, the horse chestnut, native to Europe, and then the 2 hybrids, Aesculus excarnea, which is the red horse chestnut, and Aesculus arnoldiana, which is a triple hybrid. We'll get into all that, but that actually is native. It has 3 parents, and all of them are native. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, it has 2 parents, but one of the parents is a hybrid.
Okay.
So
let's get into that when we hit that. Okay.
Yeah.
So Ohio Buckeye.
Yeah. So probably my favorite Buckeye, just because to Ohio, it's our most, it's the Buckeye that you find everywhere when you're frolicking around in the woodlands.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you know what I'm talking about.
Great understory tree. We were at Davy Woods, kind of northwest central Ohio, out in that Urbana kind of, is that
Champaign County?
Yeah. Well, I think maybe further west than
Is it?
that.
Okay.
So anyways, Davy Woods Nature Preserve, and it's a really cool spot because in central Ohio, we're just dominated in the understory by honeysuckle, unfortunately. And you go to this nature preserve, and where we're used to seeing honeysuckle, the whole thing is just Ohio Buckeye. And it's really, really fun.
Yes. And it's a native understory tree, small to medium sized understory tree. But we've talked about Buckeyes, how they leaf out so early.
Mm-hmm.
They've already leafed out, and they leaf out with beautiful colors, and there's a reason for that. And if they're going to be in the understory, they need to capture all the light they can early in the season. So it's important for them to flush out their leaves prior to, the oaks and the maples and the beeches above them. Because once those leaf out, sun is hard to come by. It's like a dappled thing, or you might need to kind of lean over a stream to kind of catch where the sun's coming in, or along a trail. So that leafing out early is on purpose. And then same goes for the blooming of most Buckeyes. And they're starting to bloom now.
Yeah. They look beautiful right now.
And they are beautiful. And I think their flowers are often overlooked because at least here we get hyper-focused on Buckeyes in September when the football season starts and the kids want to collect the nuts and make necklaces and put one in your pocket for good luck. But by then, the flowers are long gone, and the flowers are the star of the show here.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
It's Buckeyes typically make this large, erect panicle of flowers.
You like saying that, don't you?
Well, because I often think of the word panicle, I think of like wisteria, right?
Yeah.
Like it's hanging down. But a Buckeye panicle is erect.
So the wisteria is flaccid.
Yeah, it's a flaccid panicle.
And the Buckeye is an erect panicle. Okay.
And it's just this erect panicle is just made up of many tubular flowers.
Yeah.
And that's the definition of the Buckeye flower.
What color flowers on an Ohio Buckeye?
On an Ohio Buckeye, it's like a creamy white to a soft yellow.
Yeah.
Is right where we're at with that. And then kind of the inside of the petals might have a little fleck of red or orange. And the other unique thing about the Ohio Buckeye flower, which is different from the yellow Buckeye flower because they're very similar color, is that the stamens, the male parts, stick way out past the petals. So they look very fluffy. So
okay. Yeah. I didn't realize that.
That's an important ID characteristic if you find them in bloom, because yellow Buckeye and Ohio Buckeye have very similar flower colors.
So you talked about maybe a little fleck or speck of red inside the flower. I have an idea of why that would be there, but do you know why that would be in the flower?
I'm going to go with pollinators for 400, Alex.
Yes.
Rest in peace.
So that's kind of like a
landing strip.
A landing strip. Like, hey, look at me. I'm this red, this little red colorful thing inside of this flower for the pollinators, and it attracts them to the flower. So,
and Buckeyes are big pollinator plants for hummingbirds too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Particularly the red Buckeye, but all the Buckeyes, hummingbirds will visit most of the Buckeye species.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. So if you want a hummer, that can be added to your landscape.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people think like in order to get a hummer, I got to plant all these herbaceous flowers.
Annuals and perennials and stuff.
But sometimes all you need is a woody to get a good hummer to come around.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and that's a good woody I would recommend if you want the hummers. Would be a Buckeye, particularly a red Buckeye.
Okay. Well, so you talked Ohio Buckeye. So what would be, before we get into red Buckeye, what would be like some of the differences then between Ohio and yellow, let's say? Or are they so similar that...
No, I want to compare and contrast yellow and Ohio real quick, because they do have some similarities. They're the two that are native to Ohio.
Yeah.
But the yellow Buckeyes are going to be found primarily in like that Appalachian area of Ohio, the southeast of the state.
Little different soils.
Mm-hmm. So they're going to have slightly more acidic soils. The Ohio Buckeyes are going to be found everywhere in the state.
Okay.
They're pretty endemic to Ohio. So if you're finding a Buckeye tree in the woods and you're not in southeast Ohio, it's almost 100% going to be an Ohio Buckeye.
Okay.
But the biggest difference between the two, like the difference that you can just look at and be like, that's different, are the nuts come inside of a husk. And the husk on the Ohio Buckeye is prickly.
Yeah, it's spiny.
While the husk on a yellow Buckeye is completely smooth.
Okay.
And that right there is enough for you to identify it. And you often find that at underneath the tree at any time of the year.
Yeah.
So it can be a good, very reliable ID characteristic.
And the nut from both of them, though, are still that like very similar, that dark...
Yeah. There's
dark brown with the kind of beige colored
areola, I call it.
Okay.
Yeah, the nut inside is very similar. I mean, there are some differences, but unless you have them side by side, it's almost impossible to determine that. Now, I will say that a yellow Buckeye, one of these husks, I've seen them as big as softballs.
So you can get like an 8 nutter out of that.
Yeah, I've seen a half a dozen nutter in one of these husks.
Because it's cool when you find an Ohio Buckeye and you can get like a 2 nutter out of it.
And that's
maybe even a 3 nutter. Like you can get the trifecta.
But with Ohio Buckeyes, it's almost always 95% of the time it's a 1 nut inside the husk.
Yep.
Inside the husk that has spines.
One and done.
So, yeah, and I've got some great pictures we can throw up of not vomit, but throw up on the socials or during this podcast of these large softball-sized husks that I found in the yellow Buckeyes.
Dude, you're going to have to be sending me these photos for this B-roll that I can throw up in here so people see what it is that you're talking about.
I will do my best.
Oh, I already know that you're like, I'm going to be getting like text bombed with photos. I love it. Just start like a little, start an album.
I will. I'll start the album. Now, as the season goes along with the Ohio versus the yellows, the leaves are going to become very different. Yellow Buckeye leaves are much longer. The leaflets are much longer than an Ohio Buckeye, so they can be like 10, 12 inches long, while the Ohio Buckeyes may be more in that 6 to 8 range.
Okay.
And I think it's probably because they are so long, they look droopy.
Yeah.
Right? A yellow Buckeye's leaves hang like this, whereas, did I say yellow? Yellow Buckeye's leaves hang like this, where an Ohio Buckeye's leaves kind of stand up a little bit.
Yeah.
But the leaf size is going to be much different between the two. Which also brings me to another fact just about Buckeyes in general. The leaf orientation is opposite.
Yeah.
So we've probably mentioned the saying mad buck on here before for tree identification.
Or mad horse.
Mad bucking horse.
Yeah.
Heard that one. But that's basically how the leaves attach to the stem. And we won't go in too much in depth about that, but Buckeyes have an opposite leaf arrangement. So
as compared to alternate.
And the other thing is, if you think of a Buckeye leaf, if that's something that you're familiar with, or if that's something you might need to look up, it's got all these little leaves that come off from a center point. Those are actually leaflets, and the one thing with all the leaflets is called the leaf.
Yeah, correct.
So it's a palmately compound leaf.
That's got tropical vibes to it.
Yeah, very tropical vibes. And so an Ohio Buckeye and a red and a yellow Buckeye typically are going to have 5 leaflets per leaf, occasionally 7, but mostly 5.
Okay.
So,
so Ohio Buckeye and Yellow Buckeye.
Mhm.
And you said you also wanted to talk on the Red Buckeye, which is native to
the red Buckeye is going to be native like to the southeast United States.
Okay.
Like if we're talking college football, like SEC country.
Yeah.
But we can grow it just fine here. It's hardy. It's just not native to here where we are.
To Ohio. Yeah.
And it's probably one of my favorite plants in the whole wide world.
Yeah, the flowers on the Red Buckeye are beautiful for sure.
We don't see that color flower all that often in trees.
Yeah.
And it's just like a true red, right? It's just like beautiful, rich red color.
Yeah.
With these long tubular flowers, again, in an erect panicle. And blooming early. So blooming kind of like now through May.
Okay.
And
similar nut then to
so yes, it like the yellow Buckeye has the smooth husk, but it's much smaller. So you're only going to get 1 to 2 Buckeyes per husk. The other thing is I've noticed with the actual nuts is that they're lighter in color.
Okay.
They're like they're like almost tan instead of that like deep mahogany. But again, if you don't have 2 to compare, you don't want to rely on that as an ID characteristic.
I love cracking open a Buckeye before, like if you get one that's kind of dropped prematurely and you kind of break that hull open and you get the nut out, and the nut's like the whole thing's like solid white. And you throw it on your dashboard, and by the end of the day, it's like solid brown.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
It's like a
It just
sun-kissed
morphs. Yeah,
Buckeye.
it's really cool.
Yeah, I like that too.
So,
yeah. God, you're getting me all excited now for September.
What else do you want to talk about with the 3 kind of tree form natives? We've got Ohio yellow and red.
Sure. I'll make 2 more points about those. The yellow Buckeye is going to get the largest out of all of them, and it is also going to get the nicest fall color. A really nice, like Pablo Jordan would say, the fall color of the Ohio Buckeye can rival the sugar maple.
Okay.
The Ohio could have some reds in the fall color.
Go on.
What?
Just your Pablo voice. I don't know. It always gets
and
me.
Another big ID characteristic with our Buckeyes that are native to the United States are that the winter buds are smooth. They're not sticky, which the ones native across the pond have sticky buds.
Ooh.
So that's a really important ID characteristic. But even take you a step further. The Ohio Buckeye bud is square. So the way the scales overlap on the winter bud, if you go around it with your fingers, you can feel 4 distinct sides to it. So that's a really great winter ID feature to distinguish an Ohio Buckeye from a yellow Buckeye.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I'll stop there with those 3 native trees because I could keep going.
What about bottlebrush Buckeye?
So the bottlebrush Buckeye is our native shrubby Buckeye.
Shrubby
Buckeye. And it's also native further south, like Georgia, like down in that red Buckeye range. Yeah. And the main difference with the Aesculus parviflora is that it's a shrub. It's a multi-stemmed suckering plant.
Yeah.
And it also flowers quite a bit later. So it's flowering like late June and, getting full bore on into mid-July, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful, very slender, erect panicles that are very long. And the namesake bottle brush is because it just looks like something you could pick off and clean out a bottle with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like one of those motions.
Yeah.
Just like real furry looking, real slender and furry looking, white.
Yeah.
Beautiful bright white.
I planted some bottle brush Buckeyes at my house. I kind of have this problem spot in the back corner of my yard. It's seasonally can be pretty wet.
And
in the summer it dries out.
And since you mentioned that, most Buckeyes would prefer like a consistently moist soil, at least through establishment.
Yeah.
They can tolerate some drought, but that's when they become stressed out.
Yeah.
So, but continue.
Yeah, so it's kind of a seasonally wet area, and underneath some large red oak and pin oak in the back of my property, just an area where things just typically don't want to grow that well. So I threw some bottle brush Buckeye back there with the hopes that they will kind of grow and fill this area out and kind of sucker and create this little colony of Buckeyes. Just something to keep the dogs out of the mud back there, and it kind of fills this area in where otherwise it's literally just that. It's just mud that's back there. So,
well, and what I think is unique about the bottle brush Buckeye compared to a lot of shrubs that we use, it doesn't really matter light-wise where you plant them, because they can take full sun to full shade and everything in between. And I've seen this with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Now in full shade, they're not going to be quite as dense, but they're going to do just fine.
The best looking ones that I've seen though are kind of like on the edge of the woods.
Yeah.
So maybe they're getting like half of a day of sun, maybe like a good click of that morning to early afternoon sun, and then kind of shaded from the intense afternoon sun. But that's where I've seen them do the best.
And they also have a really reliable bright yellow fall color.
Yeah.
So, and we'll get into some of the problems Buckeyes have, which is why we're focusing on them now, because they don't always look that great in the fall. But these are pretty reliably looking good in the fall.
Yeah.
The bottle brush Buckeye. They also make little Buckeye nuts, maybe slightly smaller than the trees and slightly lighter in color like the reds. But a very similar looking fruit.
They're a good problem solving type shrub. I would say, like you alluded to, full sun to shade. They can take, preferably moist soil, consistently moist soil. But once established, can tolerate some drought. I know I had some planted there at Coffin Park. I ended up removing them because I was asked to, but they did well there. We kept them kind of pruned back just because of the location that they were in. But that's some really crummy soil in the all-day sun. It's not getting any extra.
Yeah, pretty vigorous. Once they get happy, they're pretty vigorous plants.
Yeah, so I really do think it's a good problem-solving shrub, even something that could be used as kind of a privacy screening. You know, if you have the space for these things, because they can, they're happy with where they are. They can get rather large.
They could be large shrubs,
and they do sucker. And with that suckering, they tend to kind of creep outside of their bounds a little bit, but
they sucker, and they also, I've seen them air layer themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that?
100%.
Yeah. So the branches might sweep down to the ground and then get covered with soil and leaf litter. And the branches where it touches the ground sends out roots, and it's just like creating new plants. And those branches are just like stuck in the ground from roots. So once they get happy, they can be very vigorous.
I would imagine that similar to like, willow would be, or like houseplants. I would imagine you could probably take a cutting, throw it in water, and you could get.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think in the nursery business, they do this with a lot with azaleas, but they'll cut the stem of something, and then they'll wrap it in like peat moss and plastic, and then that'll send out new roots, and they'll just cut that off, and that's a new plant. Yeah. So they're essentially doing that without our help.
Yeah.
So
cloning plants.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. So that hits on the four kind of native Buckeyes, native to the
eastern United States.
Yeah.
We have more native Buckeyes. There's the Texas Buckeye. There's the California Buckeye, but we don't typically grow those here. They're tougher to, just because of our environment. So we're not going to touch on those too much. But then we've got a European horse chestnut.
Okay. I love them.
Is that okay that I went there?
Yeah.
So that is our our Buckeyes cousin that's from Europe originally.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of the same characteristics. Like the European horse chestnut has a spiny husk. It has the seeds on the inside that look very similar to our Buckeyes. But there are some differences, and I mentioned one earlier, and that's that they have sticky buds. So super sticky, like you squeeze these winter buds, and it's almost like you got to work to pull your fingers off
syrup on them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like honey.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's like, and you can see it too. The buds are super shiny and super sticky. The other thing about the European horse chestnut leaflets are that they're wider about 7/8 of the way from the base to the tip, where our native Buckeyes are typically wider right in the center of the leaflet.
Okay.
So I know that's hard to explain just with words, but that's something that would be worth looking up and seeing what I mean by that.
Yeah. What about flower color?
The flower color is similar to the Ohio and the yellow, but probably just more white, more creamish to white. Not really much of that yellow, but definitely not like the red of the red Buckeye.
I will also say that I think, and this isn't a knock to any of our native Buckeyes, but I think that a European horse chestnut is just a more stately looking tree. I have seen like Ohio Buckeyes growing out in the open, and the Ohio Buckeye can get to be a very tall tree with age. But they just weren't like stately looking, if that makes any sense.
Oh.
Just very wild looking tree. Love them, but
I know
wild.
exactly what you mean by stately looking.
And with the horse chestnuts, I've seen some that are just like these giant trunks with just these big, beautiful, sprawling crowns that just, these trees are 60, 70, 80 feet tall.
It's like if you asked a child to draw a tree, it's like the shape of the tree they would draw.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's like, I don't know if this is a thing, but it's like the perfect tree shape wise.
Yeah.
Some of the downsides though is some of these diseases that we haven't gotten into yet that Buckeyes can get really affect the European horse chestnut. Like their leaves are brown and crinkly and on the ground by August. Always no fall color, nothing. So, there's trade-offs in all of this.
Yeah.
The nuts, interestingly enough, in Europe, they play a game called conkers. Did you know this?
I didn't. Yeah.
Now,
learn me.
Now,
what's a conker?
I'll tell you. The game is still played, from what I could research. Probably not as much as it used to be played because now kids have iPads and shit like that. But like back when you had like either trucks or dolls,
you could play conkers.
You could also play conkers and
or you know what else you could play?
Poo sticks.
Poo sticks.
That's another real game that they play there over in Europe. But what I gather is you drill a hole in the horse chestnut, you put it on a string, and you each have one, and you like hit them against one another, and whoever's breaks first loses. Conkers.
Can we play conkers sometime?
Sure.
I kind of like that.
I would love to. I would love to play conkers. But
do you have to yell like conkers when you win?
I don't know. We'll have to look up the formal rules, but
we can put our own spin on it.
You actually lived in Europe when you were little.
Yeah, when I was little.
And I visited Europe shortly after I got married, and I will say, like, the European horse chestnuts everywhere.
Yeah.
Particularly in Paris, I saw it everywhere. They used it. They hedged it out. So, like, the crown of these giant, like, 40 to 50 foot horse chestnut trees were perfectly
flat,
squared off on all sides because they just have a better climate there for hedging. It's less sunny and it's a little more moist and a little more mild, and the plant responds to that better there. So that's just a very common pruning technique.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
There. But anywho.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So European horse chestnut. Now I want to save the best of the hybrids for last.
Yeah.
And that's the triple parentage.
Yeah.
So let's talk about let's talk about some of the hybrid Buckeyes here. To kind of wrap up kind of the meat and potatoes of your talk, and then I think we should hit on some of the issues that Buckeyes have before we kind of
So the first hybrid that Matt's alluding to is the Aesculus X carnea. I place X in there, and that's telling you it's a hybrid. And it's actually a hybrid between the aforementioned European horse chestnut and then our red Buckeye. And if you remember, white flowers, red flowers. So the hybrid has these really rich pink flowers. Wouldn't you call it pink?
Yeah.
If you read descriptions online, a lot of them say red, but I see pink.
Yeah.
When I get these Aesculus X carneas, and the two cultivars that you'll find is Briardii and Fort McNair.
Yeah, Fort McNair is probably like, I hear more people mention Fort McNair than I do anything else.
Agreed.
So,
I think it's a little bit more on the pinker side.
Yeah.
But it's a great hybrid of the two. It has the qualities of both. Like, for instance, the red Buckeye doesn't have sticky buds. The European horse chestnut has very sticky buds. So these buds are just like a little bit sticky.
Okay.
So it just kind of like blends the two. So really cool. Like when you see this one in bloom, you're like, that belongs like down in the Bahamas or something. It just looks so tropical.
It is very tropical.
Big
looking.
leaves.
Yeah. It reminds
pink
you
flowers.
of like, it would be a small one tucked in with like the hibiscus and things in Mandevilla, like at the garden centers here. You know, it's just got that tropical vibe to it.
So very cool, very, very cool hybrid. Produces some nuts, not as many as like the Ohio, but interesting enough, even though it's a hybrid, the nuts typically come true to seed. So you can plant one of those and then get an X carnea.
Oh, right on. Yeah, very
Which
cool.
you don't always have that with the hybrids.
Yeah, but what's another hybrid, kind of off subject with this, that you have learned comes true to seed? It's not a Buckeye.
It's not a Buckeye.
Native.
A
native tree that comes true to seed. A cultivar.
As a hybrid? Oh. Yeah, the cultivar Alley Cat Redbud.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one pops up all over my yard, and every single seedling has the beautiful mottled leaves. So I'm going to dig some up for you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, that's just kind of a cool phenomena. And then lastly is my favorite of all the Buckeyes we've talked about for planting in the landscape, and it's the one that I would suggest. Like if you're one of these people who's like, I need a Buckeye tree, you know, Grandpa was a big Buckeyes fan. We need to plant a Buckeye tree in his honor. You know, we get a lot of that in Dublin. You know,
absolutely.
It's like a lot of our memorial trees are Buckeye trees. So if you really want to plant a nice tree in the landscape that's a Buckeye, I would plant the Aesculus X Arnoldiana, and the cultivar is Autumn Splendor. And I tend to say Autumn Splendor.
Yeah. So explain to the listeners.
And you know it's a wonderful tree.
It is a wonderful tree. And I would say the one thing about it that makes it so wonderful is the biggest gripe we get with any of these plants is how they look in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
They look like dog shit. Come late summer when everything's hot and dry, the leaves turn brown, crispy, and they drop. And you're left without the fall color. You're just kind of left with the skeleton of a tree. But the Autumn Splendor really kind of pushes right on through all of that. And you get the wonderful fall color, and you don't get all of the leaf drop. And
it does. I've got wonderful photos from years ago. It was like November 18th or something.
Yeah.
And this tree was one of the most miraculous looking trees in the landscape in mid-November, a Buckeye. So usually we're talking Buckeyes are dropping their brown leaves late July into August. So this hybrid, what often happens with hybrids is that the hybrid plant will take some of the better qualities from each parent and express those. And in this case it does, and it tends to just have a lot of resistance against some of those fungals that Buckeyes get. So just really nice, bright red fall foliage deep into November.
Love it.
Depending on the climate. But the other unique thing about the autumn splendor X. arnoldiana Buckeye, first of all, the specific epithet Arnoldiana, it was discovered at the Arnold Arboretum at Harvard University. But it's thought to be a triple hybrid, a triploid plant, with one parent being the Ohio Buckeye and the other parent being a hybrid of the yellow and the red Buckeye. So it's our 3 native trees just doing the damn thing.
Mind
blown. Yeah.
Blown.
And you get some of the better qualities of each of those wrapped up in this tree. So this is the one I recommend you plant, and you can plant it and feel good about it if you're planting it for your loved one who loves the Ohio State Buckeyes, because it does have one whole parent is the Ohio Buckeye. So I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So
perfect. And there's another one that you didn't mention. There's a couple that I just want to touch on real quick.
Is there?
Yeah. Well, cultivars.
Okay.
One being that double flowered horse chestnut.
Called?
I can't remember I cannot remember. It's a horse chestnut, but it's got a double flower on it. It's like hippopotamus.
Well, that's Aesculus hippocastanum.
Okay.
Is the Latin, but then it's that cultivar's on the tip of my tongue.
Anyways, yeah, so we'll throw like a picture of it up on this.
But yeah, it has the double flower, so it's like super bright white, stately flowers.
The flowers just are so dense.
Talk about an erect panicle.
It's pretty wild. So we'll get some pictures of that up on here. Then the other one too was you know what I'm going to say right now?
You're going to say, and I know you don't know what it's called, right?
It's like
erythroblastos. Is that the one you're going to say?
Sure. It's the one where Megan was like, "Oh, Tim, you got to get this tree and plant it." And you're like, "Oh yeah, this is amazing." And you planted it, and it is the biggest piece of shit tree you've ever planted. What?
Okay. So here's the story. She was at Danaher, which is a local nursery here that grows super special trees.
So think like Mr. Maple. If you're a plant person, you've probably heard of Mr. Maple. If not, check out his YouTube videos and stuff. But it's very similar to a Mr. Maple. So,
but a smaller scale and
much smaller scale.
And everything there is unique.
Yeah.
Like goofy, variegated stuff and upright stuff, and you're not going to find it anywhere else.
Nope.
Like Danaher has a ginkgo tree that survived Chernobyl.
It's called Ginkgo biloba Survivor. And
it just has those good genes. So whatever. But Megan was there buying some things for work just when this Buckeye tree that he had was leafing out. And it's Aesculus neglecta, which should tell you something immediately. The specific epithet is neglecta. And then the cultivar is like erythroblastos. It's a cool sounding name.
Yeah.
But she's basically like, you got to get one of these. The foliage flushes out bright pink and it's beautiful and it looks like little shrimps coming off. And she showed me a picture and I'm like, yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So next time.
So you bought it.
Next time you guys were there, someone from Dublin was there. I was like, grab me one of those and I'll plant it as a specimen. And it was the ugliest tree I've ever planted.
I love it. It's a good story.
It just defoliated by mid-June and it had these real shitty crusty leaves. And the funny thing is I actually visited it today. I planted it last year and it's completely dead. I forgot to put deer protection on it.
And it just got nailed.
And it got nailed and it died. And I never even got to see the part that...
You never got to see the little shrimps?
I never got to see it in the spring. Thanks, Meg.
It. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, that's funny.
So, cool, man.
Oh, man, Buckeyes. What are you going to do?
Yeah, so you hit just briefly on some of the fungals. So, like I was saying, one of the biggest gripes with the Buckeyes is the leaf drop, the premature leaf drop, like late summer, sometimes midsummer, the Argo Blaster, whatever you called it, premature leaf drop on that guy.
Yeah.
But what is it that causes the leaf drop that we get? Is it just like,
well, it could just
summer
be,
scorch?
A lot of it's just leaf scorch, which is just like the dryness of the summer and the heat of the sun has just taken its toll on these plants.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, what I'm saying, like, they don't love being in like super dry, sunny areas.
Yeah.
That will definitely have them drop their leaves prematurely. But then also like certain leaf spot fungal issues. There's a whole host of funguses that will kind of just get into these leaves, make them drop, and make the tree look like a skeleton by the middle of August. And it's all cosmetic.
Yeah.
Like, the tree's not dead. The tree's actually fine.
So is there anything that can be done with some of the fungal issues, or is it just one of those things where it's like, it's going to happen, so you might as well just live with it and deal with it? Or
so I'm gonna just speculate and say, yes, I'm sure there's,
like, I'm just like copper sulfate,
I'm
or any
sure
of these?
there are treatments you can do
Yeah.
to get a little bit more life out of them.
Okay.
But I'm not really a proponent of that, because it's just like, plant the right thing in the right place. And if it's going to be that much work where you're going to have to apply something to it every year, then it's not something you want to plant.
Or you just plant it for the first half of the season's beauty.
And just know that it's going to peter out late summer. But like I said, right plant, right place. Like, look for this autumn splendor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or make sure that your Buckeye tree is getting that afternoon shade and has consistently moist soil.
Yeah.
That way you can get some longevity out of the foliage.
For sure.
Right.
Cool.
So
I love it, man.
yeah, me too. I get real
hyped,
pumped up.
Dude, you're hyped this episode. I love it.
I mean, it's one of my favorite genera, Aesculus.
I know.
So, and there's probably a lot of reasons for that, but I really do want everyone listening, if you need to revisit a Buckeye or you've never seen a Buckeye in the spring, get out there and find them, because they're one of the most beautiful trees we have in our region this time of year. It's tough to beat, right? Am I overstating that?
No.
I mean, the flowers are so cool.
Yeah, they are. They're beautiful flowers. Absolutely.
And when the trees leaf out, they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. That's happened now. We're past that stage.
The unfurling of the Buckeye leaves.
Unfurling.
Yeah.
I feel like there was something else important I wanted to say, but about the Buckeyes. It's like slipped past me.
What would it be? I know you could talk for a day on this stuff, right?
I could. Yeah, I could. There's a lot of little things, but I guess I'll just leave it. Leave it alone.
Leave it at that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, right on, bub. I'm glad we got to talk about Buckeyes today, and hopefully the listeners learned something good about Buckeyes. And maybe if they were on the fence, if you're on the fence about purchasing a Buckeye for the landscape, hopefully this episode kind of has either inspired you or hopefully not steered you away from them, but inspired you. And like Tim had said, the Autumn Splendor is definitely one that we always recommend planting for sure, unless it's something very specific. Like if we are doing a legacy tree for a loved one, like somebody has passed in the family and they want a specific, like it needs to be Ohio Buckeye or it needs to be this. Otherwise, we're typically leaning more towards the Autumn Splendors or the Fort McNairs or something like that.
Absolutely.
So, and in some cases, Ohio Buckeye, if we are doing volunteer native planting, understory planting, sometimes we will get some small Ohio Buckeyes to throw into the understory for volunteers. So cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
Love it.
I'm very happy.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that.
I will be way more happy when we get some rain.
Yeah.
So
no rain.
Right on, people. Well, you good?
Yeah.
All right.
Go Buckeyes.
Go Bucks. Tim, don't forget to get me some photos for all of this.
I won't.
So, and next week we're going to have our lovely art piece up here.
Yes, we are.
We're really excited about that. I've got to get on the ball with that. And this stud's still sitting over there. So, all right, people. We love y'all harder +2.
Rock on with your cock on, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Love you.